Remuneration of employees in Ghana. Remuneration of employees in Ghana. This video answers this critical question of which deductions are unlawful from your remuneration in Ghana. Section 67 of the Labor Law indicates that every contract of employment must stipulate that the whole of the salary, wages and allowances of the worker shall be made payable in legal tender in addition to non-cash remuneration, and accordingly, a contract of employment that contains provision to the contrary is void. Section 68 explains that every worker shall receive equal pay for equal work without distinction of any kind. This suggests that once you do the same work with another, then both are entitled to equal pay without any form of discrimination. Section 69 explains the kind of deductions from employee salary that are unlawful. Employer shall not impose a pecuniary penalty upon a worker for any cause whatsoever. Employer shall not deduct remuneration due to a worker, any amount whatsoever, unless the deduction is permitted by Section 70 or by any other law, or is by way of repayment of an advance of remuneration lawfully made by the employer to the worker. Section 69 explains the deduction from your remuneration that are permitted by law and also done with the consent of the worker. 1. Any amount due from the worker in respect of contributions to any provident, pensions or other fund or scheme agreed by the worker. It's important that any other contribution aside pensions must be agreed by the worker before the deduction will be lawful. 2. Any financial facility advanced by the employer to the worker at the written request of the worker, or any facility guaranteed by the employer to the worker. 3. Any amount paid to the worker in error, as remuneration, in excess of what the worker is legitimately entitled to, from the employer. 4. On the written authority of the worker, any amount due from the worker as membership fee or contribution to an organization of which the worker is a member. 5. For meeting any loss suffered by the employer as a result of the loss of, or damage to, any property or thing used in connection with, or produced by, the employer's business and which is under the control of the worker. 6. Any deduction in compliance with an order by the Labor Commission. Section 69 subsection 2 explains that in the event deductions are to be made due to damage caused by the worker, as in spoke about earlier, the following has to be considered, else the deduction will be deemed unlawful. 1. It must be confirmed that the damage was caused by the worker and the worker is clearly responsible for it. 2. The amount to be deducted is fair and does not exceed the actual value of the loss or damage caused suffered by the employer, or that the amount represents a fair estimate of the loss or damage suffered. This indicates that you are not to pay more than the value of the loss. 3. The worker must be given a reasonable opportunity to explain why the deduction should not be made before, i.e., give the worker a fair hearing first. 4. The amount to be deducted either once or on a periodic basis should not put the worker and his dependent into an form of hardship. Subsection 3 indicates that when you are aggrieved with any form of deduction made by your employer, you can report same to the Labor Commission in writing. And subsection 4 gives the Labor Commission the authority to investigate such complaints and give a verdict on it. Section 71 explains that the employer shall not force a worker to purchase from the employer's store or force the worker to use its services. Finally, Section 72 indicates that every worker is entitled to be paid his or her remuneration for public holidays. Like, share and follows us to learn more about your salary at the workplace. Do not hesitate to contact us via 026 399 5946 or 054 514 6296. Drop a comment so we can explain further if need be.